In 2008, Mark Zuckerberg became a billionaire at just 23. He was still wearing hoodies to board meetings, living with roommates, while somewhere on a balance sheet sat a number with 10 digits in it. But becoming a billionaire at 25 isn't just becoming rich earlier. It's getting access to a level of money, power, and attention before you've had decades to prepare for it. Today, we're breaking down what happens as that wealth climbs. From the first billion to $10 billion to $100 billion, and eventually to levels no young billionaire has ever reached. 7 levels, 7 completely different realities. Let's get into it. Level 1, $1 billion to $3 billion. The accidental billionaire. This is where the number appears before the person has a plan for it. Net worth, $1 to $3 billion. Age, usually early 20s. What changes here is simple. The paperwork exists before the identity does. You are legally a billionaire, but you are still learning what a valuation even means. The clearest example right now is Mercor, the AI hiring startup founded by 3 22-year-olds, Brendan Foodie, Adarsh Hiramath, and Surya Midha. In October 2025, investors valued their company at $10 billion, making each of them worth roughly $2.2 billion, before any of them turned 23. At $3 billion, the surprise wears off. What replaces it is a much harder question. What do you actually do with this? Level 2. $3 billion to $10 billion. The Prodigy billionaire, net worth $3 to $10 billion. This is where wealth starts changing relationships before it changes anything else. Old friendships can become complicated, while new relationships become harder to judge. Is someone interested in you or in what you can give them? Alexander Wang is a clear case study. He dropped out of MIT at 19 to build Scale AI and became a billionaire in his 20s. His wealth arrived long before the network experience and relationships that usually come with it. Above 10 billion, something else happens. The wealth stops being personal and starts needing a structure. Level 3, $10 billion to $30 billion. The institutional Prodigy net worth, $10 to $30 billion. This is where personal wealth turns into an institution, whether the person wanted that or not. At this scale, you cannot manage the fortune yourself anymore. Legal structures, investment teams, and formal decision-making processes appear not as a luxury but as a requirement. Patrick Collison built Stripe with his brother John, while both were barely in their 20s, dropping out of college to do it. By 2026, with Stripe privately valued at over $150 billion, Forbes put Patrick's stake at around $17.5 billion. Nearly 2 decades after founding the company, he is still its CEO. Running one of the most valuable private companies on Earth. Past 30 billion, the person stops being just a founder. They start being a factor in industries they never planned to touch. Level 4, $30 billion to $100 billion. The generational outlier net worth, $30 to $100 billion. At this level, the person becomes globally consequential, whether or not they wanted the visibility. Most people who reach this tier spend decades building toward it. But young billionaire wealth has another path, inheritance, and this is where the story splits. Some young billionaires build the fortune, others inherit it. Mark Mateschitz is the sharpest example. In 2022, at 30 years old, he inherited his father's 49% stake in Red Bull. By 2026, Forbes valued that stake at more than $45 billion, making him one of Europe's richest people under 35. He didn't build Red Bull. He inherited ownership of it. And suddenly, at an age when most people are still building their careers, he controlled a fortune worth tens of billions. Above 100 billion, the wealth stops behaving like money at all. Level 5, $100 billion to $200 billion. The historical anomaly net worth, $100 to $200 billion. At this level, wealth starts operating on a timescale longer than a normal career. It compounds faster than any person at any age can spend it. Crossing $100 billion while still young is extraordinarily rare. Mark Zuckerberg became one of the youngest people ever to reach that level, hitting the milestone at 36 in 2021. It took him 17 years from founding Facebook in his dorm room to reach it, which sounds long until you compare it with the decades it took most people who reach similar levels of wealth. That gap matters. A 70-year-old at this level is thinking about legacy and succession. Someone who reaches it in their 30s is looking at decades more of a number that can keep growing whether they work or not. Past 200 billion, we leave known history behind. Level 6, $200 billion to $500 billion, the youngest ever net worth, $200 to $500 billion. No one has reached this level young, not close. This level is hypothetical, but the math behind it isn't. If a single company or technology became foundational enough to the global economy fast enough, and the person behind it happened to still be in their 30s or 40s, this is what it would look like. Someone with decades of working life left, controlling capital equal to a mid-sized national economy. Every tax system, every regulatory structure, every governance model that exists today was built for wealth accumulated slowly by people near the end of their working years. None of it was built for someone reaching this scale with 50 years still ahead of them. If it happens, we will be building the rules for it after the fact, not before. And past 500 billion, even the hypothetical gets strange. Level 7, $500 billion and beyond, the unwritten chapter net worth, $500 billion and beyond. This has never happened at any age. This level is entirely theoretical. But imagine it happening young, a person still decades from what used to be considered retirement, controlling more capital than most governments, with enough remaining lifespan to actually deploy it instead of just preserving it. That is not a wealthy person anymore. That is closer to a permanent private institution with a human face, still young enough to run it directly for half a century. Nothing in the current financial or legal system was designed to hold that. The question stops being about money entirely. It becomes about what a person does with 50 years and no remaining excuse to wait. Ending. A billionaire at 25 and a billionaire at 70 can hold the exact same number, but they are not living the same story. One of them is closing a chapter that took a lifetime to write. The other one hasn't decided what the book is even about yet. If this was useful, subscribe. I break down how power actually works, not how the headlines describe it. See you in the next one.